on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Friday. That's right. It's the weekend. We made it. Congratulations. And what a beautiful day to start the weekend off with. We have Bitcoin up 2.62%. Now, yesterday we were saying, man, if we don't get a bounce back, this is going to be a little bit on the scary side for Bitcoin. Well, we had the bounce back as we anticipated. I'm actually very glad to see that we did have this. You can see we tried to push down lower. The bears were trying to just push the price down. Bitcoin hit around $7,383. This morning we actually pumped up to around $7,696, and we're having a slight pullback. But the thing is, we do have some massive resistance up ahead, which I do want to talk about. So let's not put the carriage ahead of the horse here. But if we are able to break above this could be very good for Bitcoin short term. In fact, the CME's futures is actually trading even higher than what we're looking at right now. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Also want to mention the fact that Bakkt is going to be releasing another product, this time options. But wait, they're going to offer the option of having your option cash settled, which we saw what CME's futures did with cash settled. So how is that exactly going to affect the Bitcoin price? But on the bright side, we do have the president of China saying that they are going to be going full force with blockchain. Still not 100% on the Bitcoin wagon, but we're going to talk about that. And if that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, well, we do this every single day. And yesterday we were kind of anticipating this bounce. So if you were able to get in above that sort of breakthrough of the resistance, congratulations. You definitely probably had a good trade. So let's dive in. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, and if you're new, I forgot to mention, we give away a Ledger Nano S hardware wallet every single Monday. Drop a comment on any video and you are eligible. Now, let's give it a refresh. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin dominance sitting around 65.6%. A lot of the altcoins today, some of them actually are outperforming Bitcoin. You can see if you switch it to the Bitcoin comparative. We do have some decent green. There is some red in here as well, but nevertheless, Bitcoin has at least minimally been able to drag up most of the Bitcoins, at least in the dollar value, not Satoshi value, which is what we look for. Well, if you're trying to accumulate Bitcoin, which is my goal, everyone has a different goal, but having a look at some of the biggest gainers today, we have Chili's up yet again, 18%, Bitcoin SV, Digitex, Synthex, Bytem, XMAX, Bytecoin, Quant, Holo, and KuCoin shares all leading the way today. Having a look at the volume, I know, it's still not that impressive. So obviously we'd still like to see some more volume, but take it while you can get it, right? Having a look over here at Coin Farm, which never ever loads when I want it to, so we're going to skip it. But you can see right here, Fear and Greed Index. Now, yesterday we were down to about 20, okay? And, what do they say? Well, when there's fear or when there's blood on the streets, right? Even if it's your own, buy, right? So, yeah, you can see right here, obviously the longs are pretty damn excited right now, 52.74%. So, yeah, we're moving clearly out of the neutral into the buy territory. So that is the situation. Oh, also, guys, this morning, conveniently, 3:03 a.m., 40 million Tether was minted. What do you think they were going to do with that? Just kind of chill? No. They were going to buy some Bitcoin and maybe some altcoins, right? So having a look right here, you can see essentially we had this downwards resistance right here from right before we had that fall. And we had this sort of neckline, whatever you want to call it, that was essentially starting to form right here with some upward support. We got to the end of it and boom, we had our breakout just as we were anticipating. Now, interestingly enough, we actually did not close out the 4-hour CME's futures gap at around $7,185, which if we do continue to actually move upwards from this point, then I think that might invalidate the 4-hour theory, and we're just going to stick to the daily hour theory or the daily theory when it comes to the futures charts. You can actually see right here because we actually put in another little one down here on the 4-hour, but I don't really think that matters. And interestingly enough, this morning, when I was setting up my video, we were sitting right here, literally right at this green line on the 4-hour, this 21 exponential, and we were just testing it and testing it and testing it, and finally we broke above it. So I am happy to see that Bitcoin has broken through, although this isn't really a major indicator that we're looking at. I am happy to see that it at least broke above the 21 on the 4-hour. Now, having a look over here, essentially, really just short term, like I said, we're mostly just going to be looking at price for right now, not going to be looking at too many moving averages. We're still sitting below all of them, okay? So the key level to get above right here is this $7,728 level, but I just want to show you, we have some, previous support that became resistance, and also this downwards trend right here that's basically forming a bit of a cross right here at around $7,757, okay? So that is my short-term level to get above. If we can get above $7,757 on the daily and close a candle above the daily today, so we'll know by the end of the day, and if we can maintain above this, well then I definitely think this is very good, extremely short-term, but keep in mind if we just sort of zoom out right here, you know, Bitcoin still needs to put in some kind of even short-term higher high. So the one I'd like to see us get above is sort of this wick at around that $8,800 level, which we've been saying 8.8K ever since we had Josh Rager on the channel. And also, just to let you guys know, the 200 daily is now sitting at around $8,896. So it still hasn't officially curved down just yet, and we will be keeping our eyes on that. Other thing I wanted to point out right here is Bakkt volume has been increasing dramatically. It had a pretty much abysmal start to its launch. You can see right here, 302. I'll give it a refresh live, 319. So you are seeing some demand for Bakkt futures. I'm happy to see this. Finally, somebody is utilizing this. So that being said, guys, like I said, if you did have an opportunity to put in a long on Bybit, if you were watching the video yesterday, we were talking about sort of breaking above, you know, these key levels right here, and then we probably were going to have at least a short-term rally. So congratulations if you're not sure how to, you know, long or short Bitcoin. I do have a tutorial dropping up above, and of course, I do have links below. They do help support the channel. I don't require you to use them, but are you not surprised that just yesterday, Squawk Box, we have 6,500 is the next downside target for Bitcoin, says ex-Fortress Investment Group's Mike Novogratz. But here are the reasons why Bitcoin has positive momentum. Well, I thought it was kind of funny how, you know, all of a sudden we hadn't really heard about Bitcoin for a little bit. All of a sudden we come out with Bitcoin and they're talking about a potential $6,500 level. And of course, the next day we literally bounce. I mean, this is just literally how it works. You know, buy the rumor, sell the news, do the opposite of the news. You guys know it by now. But essentially, this is what he had to say. So I'll just play this clip really quick. And then I want to show you something really freaking weird. So definitely stick around after this clip because it's a little bit of like a X-Files kind of thing. We're going to look into that, a little conspiracy, okay? But first, let's see what Mike Novogratz had to say.
Look at charts, and at this point, you figure Bitcoin could go back to 4? Could it?
Oh, I think
4,000.
I'm hoping it holds here, but I think
Hoping it holds at around
6,500 would be the next downside target.
And the high.
I think you've got to get back through like 8,200 first, and if it gets back through 8,200, we're then back in the kind of 8,000, 10,000 range. It's going to need new energy to really make the big move. Now, some positive things are happening, right? The New York Stock Exchange is Bakkt, just got set up. There's a futures exchange that's starting to gain some volume. But more importantly, they've got a custody solution, which is just coming online, that's going to get, you know, approved, like, you know, kind of world-class custody, which allows more and more people to feel comfortable with it, right?
And I think that's the most important part, is that there are so many people that are not going to adhere to Satoshi's vision. We talk about this all the time on the channel, right? So many people out there are scared to buy into Bitcoin. They don't understand it. In fact, they would rather have somebody else hold their Bitcoin for them. And I know what you're saying. This is crazy. Why would you do that? Well, think about what we do right now with banks. I mean, humans are conditioned to just trust these third parties with your funds, right? With your investments. I mean, we don't even trust ourselves with our own passwords, let alone private keys. So I do think that he makes a good point here. Like I said, going back over here, you know, we're not really seeing a lot of the volume that I'd like to see. And when we were looking over at the money flow chart yesterday, we weren't really seeing a lot of that new money flowing in from the outside. It's mostly just money getting sort of redistributed around within the ecosystem, right? So that's just something I wanted to point out. But are you guys ready for conspiracy time? Okay, shout out to the Telegram group for bringing this to my attention. So apparently there is this address that has named itself Satoshi Nakamoto. Nothing really weird about that, right? I mean, anybody can give their address whatever name you want. I can name my address the Crypto Zombie, right? But that's not the strange thing. The strange thing is who this wallet has been interacting with lately. Now, if we go over here to this Bitcoin address, you could scroll down here and you could see that it recently received 0.00001 BTC from the wallet Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, number one, why would anybody send such a small amount of Bitcoin to this wallet, number one? And second of all, let's not ignore the fact that this wallet has received over 500,000 Bitcoin. what is going on, guys? This gets sent last night, then we have this major pump, then Tether's printing all this money, and now we have a wallet named Satoshi Nakamoto setting 0.00001 Bitcoin to a 500,000 Bitcoin wallet. Or at least it had 500,000 at one point. No idea what this is, guys. Let me know. If you have any information on this wallet or this wallet, please let me know. I clearly did not have time to do the research and chain analysis, but if you know what the heck is going on, let me know. Is Satoshi back from the grave? Well, I guess we'll find out. So, talking about what's going on with Bakkt, essentially they announced that they're going to launch their first regulated options contract for Bitcoin futures, which is adding a new product to their current slate of physically settled Bitcoin futures. Now you had the CEO, Kelly Loeffler. She said that the contracts were built in response to customer feedback. Apparently, this was in some demand. And that ICE Futures US self-certified the contract through the US CFTC. That's pretty good. So the Bakkt Bitcoin options contract will be based on the benchmark Bakkt Bitcoin futures contract. However, here's the kicker. Customers will have the choice of contracts settled with cash, meaning that customers receive the fiat equivalent to the contract's value at expiration, or of course physically settled, meaning that you will receive the Bitcoin. But one of the things that we loved so much about Bakkt futures was that it was all physically settled. Reintroducing cash settled essentially is just printing more paper Bitcoin, diluting the market, and this is exactly what happened with gold back in the day. I don't want to go into it all over again, but we've gone over time and time again what the introduction of that did for the gold markets. So creating more paper Bitcoin, not really good for the Bitcoin demand, but hey, if it gets more people trading, if it gets more people interested, if it creates more legitimacy around the space, then you basically have to take baby steps with it, right? But I do want to point out, guys, we did have an all-time high for hash rate. You could see we hit 114 quintillion, and yes, we've pulled back, but obviously these are just snapshots, so it doesn't mean that we're falling, but I mean, that happened yesterday, so congratulations, you're seeing miners setting up more farms. You had in Texas, right? They're trying to build the biggest one ever. So yeah, this is not showing any sign of, negativity or something that you should be bearish about, except for the price that's been falling. But the question is, have we bottomed? Are we close to the bottom? And is this an official bounce back to the norm? Well, we're going to have to keep our eyes on it moving forward. You can see right here, we did get rejected thus far. So we hit 7697 over here on futures, and we have been pulling back. But we will keep our eyes on it moving forward. But I know what you're going to say. What about the altcoins? The altcoins are doing quite well today. Yes, they are. In fact, I was actually surprised to see that the altcoins got stomped out at the $58.94 billion level. They respected it, which I was very happy to see. And you can see right now, we are once again pushing to break through resistance. And if the altcoins can actually have a nice breakout through this resistance, then I would expect the altcoins to absolutely skyrocket. But once again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You want to wait for that confirmation. You can try to anticipate it, but well, that's sometimes how you can get burned, right? But, talking about altcoins, Bitcoin was the place to be this year, not going to lie. I mean, that's why I sat in primarily Bitcoin. In fact, my Bitcoin is, I don't even know at this point, it's got to be up over 95%. But I am still holding some altcoins in the background. Interestingly enough, two of the altcoins I've been holding have been one of the ones that have done the best. You have Binance Coin, appreciated more than 45% against Bitcoin. Year to date, BNB is up nearly 550%. And of course, I don't have to tell you guys about Chainlink. Chainlink has had a very impressive year, and even though it has pulled back, it's still up nearly 160% against the US dollar. So you could argue that altcoins do outperform Bitcoin, but you have to know which ones to be in. And unfortunately, we don't always know which ones to pick, right? So I just wanted to point that out, saying that, be careful. I have been sort of scaling into the altcoins a little bit, peeling off very small percentages of my Bitcoin here and there when I see times to dip. Am I full on, alt season? Not quite yet. I still need Bitcoin to get above some of these key resistances, especially if we can get above that 8.8K level. I think that would just be so good. Short term to midterm to long term. Actually, it would just be good in general, let's be honest. But one other coin I wanted to talk about is Matic. This is another coin I also do have a bag of as well. You can see right here, they're saying 100% of unlocked Matic Treasury tokens, foundation, and ecosystem to be allocated to staking activities. So none of these tokens are going to be released on the markets, which is good. About 40% of the investors are voluntarily not unlocking it. They are choosing to stake. Only about 20% of the unlocked tokens are going to be released. This was the first and last investor token unlock, 50% at the beginning, 50% now. So basically, what should you expect from Matic? Well, there might be a little bit of a sell-off potentially. There could be, just because you are going to have that 20% hitting, although it would provide a potential opportunity to scoop up the dip. If you're looking to buy Matic, don't just buy Matic because I'm talking about it, okay? Guys, you know I talk about a lot of different coins on this channel. But yeah, that being said, guys, moving on, the big news, I think, is that you have Chinese President Xi, I think his name is Jinping, I probably said that wrong, has called for the country to accelerate its adoption of blockchain technologies as a core for innovation. Xi stressed that the implementation of integrated blockchain technology is key in promoting technological innovation and transforming industries. He said, we must take blockchain as an important breakthrough for independent innovation of core technologies, clarify the main directions, increase investment, focus on a number of key technologies, and accelerate the development of blockchain and industrial innovation. I feel like I just read the same thing twice, or maybe he just used a lot of words. But anyway, his push for greater blockchain adoption comes against the backdrop of obviously China, obviously not really being a fan of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. But that being said, these guys are pushing forward in the blockchain arena, and I hope that, places like where I live, the US, do not get left behind. Also, check this out. Blast from the past, guys. So, Ivan Manuel Molina Lee, the president of controversial Panama-based payments processor Crypto Capital, tied to Bitfinex and other major cryptocurrency exchanges, was arrested by Polish authorities. According to local news outlet, he said he is suspected of money laundering and being involved in an international drug cartel. So basically, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I had this video talking about Crypto Capital. I actually just searched for it because I forgot where it was. But I said, if this Bitcoin Black Swan event is true, it could seriously damage the crypto space short term. And I was talking about Crypto Capital. We were relating it to how they had removed Bitfinex, essentially. You guys can check this video out. It's kind of all conspiracy-esque. But yeah, kind of turns out to be true, and it looks like they got the guy. So essentially, his arrest is reportedly connected to the $350 million that were seized by Polish Ministry of Justice previously. Several other large crypto businesses and exchanges, including Binance, Kraken, and BitMEX, have also used Crypto Capital services in the past. So there you go. So, yeah, check that video out. Black Swan event, guys. I'm pretty happy to have put that out. But that being said, Plan B says he does not expect anything less than a $100,000 Bitcoin by 2021. In fact, according to the stock to flow, which is sitting at around 8,300, currently where Bitcoin is fluctuating right now is exactly where we need to be. Makes total sense. So for everybody that was out there panicking, what happened essentially was I think we had a bit of a run up too fast. I think we're trying to pump again. I think we basically just got up to that $14,000 level way too fast. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, the faster it pumps, the quicker it dumps, right? So I think the situation was we needed to have a retrace. We needed to come back to earth. We needed to have a little bit of, the opportunity to sort of ground ourselves, reassess the situation. And now it looks like we are having the bulls return. Of course, we do have that key resistance I was looking at. So I am still keeping my eyes right here. Zooming in right here, you can see right where these two cross, and this is that $7,759 level. So that's basically what I'm saying, guys. Obviously, falling below 7,447, especially if we go below this wick at 7,296. Well, yeah, that could not be good. But ultimately, like I said, worst case scenario, Bitcoin is still in this sort of, descending wedge pattern, which could still continue to play out. If we aren't able to break some of these higher levels. But like I said, the ultimate low for me is still that sort of $7,100 level short term. But yeah, if we are able to get back up into this sort of channel right here, get up above this purple line, close a daily, then I think that Bitcoin will slowly start to grind back upwards again, and we can finally continue on our merry old way. Are we going to have a $16,000 Bitcoin by the end of this month, like the anonymous prediction? I don't know if that's possible. I don't think there's enough time. That would be an incredible pump. That actually would be a scary pump. It would be too fast, and I would think that would be heavily manipulated, and I would assume we'd have a very, very big pullback if we pumped up that fast. But that being said, guys, that is it for me today. Enjoy your Friday. It's the start of the weekend. Can't complain about that, right? So, yeah, beautiful green day. We will take it. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Remember, if you guys do want to drop a comment,